Well, hello, welcome again to a reading of the Greek New Testament, and I'm just reading through 1 Corinthians, and I'm up to chapter 9, which I'll do in two sections. So chapter 9, Paul becomes a little bit more personal, and he becomes more perhaps agitated, as is seen by the fact that we have a bit later in the chapter sections where the grammar ceases to work properly because he's getting to probably fairly emotional in what he's saying. Anyway, so we'll just read through this. Uk eimi eleutheros, question. And in fact, this whole section's full of rhetorical questions. Uk eimi apostolos, uki iesun ton kurion hemon hi oraka. Very interesting verse. U to ergon muhumes este en kurio, e alois uk eimi apostolos alage humin eimi. Hegas phragismu tes apostoles, humes esti en kurio. Just do that bit there. I am not, the question here, am I not, expecting the answer yes, am I not eleutheros, a free agent? Uk eimi apostolos, am I not an apostle? Now this next bit's very interesting because he says, have I not seen, this hioraka is the perfect of horao. So the formation's very irregular here, but you can see the hora root with perhaps some kind of funny augment here. So have I not seen Jesus our Lord? So he's referring here, of course, to one of the very few references to the, presumably to the Jesus' appearance to him on the road to Damascus. U to ergon mu, are you not my work in the Lord? If I am not an apostle, alois, to others, so as far as others are concerned, alage humin eimi, at least, I think here for the alage, literally, but in fact I am to you, so probably translated as at least I am to you. So if I'm not an apostle, perhaps in the eyes of others, I am at least to you. Hegas phragis uses this idea of a seal elsewhere in his writings, and it's used in the New Testament. Sphragis is a seal, something which seals something down, often used on a seal on a letter. Could also be used as a seal on a wine jar and so on. For the seal, you are the seal of my apostleship in the Lord. Here we have Yahweh we have kurios without the article, possibly referring to God. Apostole is an abstract noun, apostleship. So apostolos is an apostle, and the abstract noun, as usual, abstract nouns going to the feminine. So of my apostleship, because Paul was the one who founded this particular congregation. Hei eme apologia tois emi anakrinusin esti haute, me uk echomen exousian phagein kai pien. Me uk echomen exousian adelphen gunaika peri again hos kai hoiloipoi apostoloi, kai hoi adelphoi tu kuriou kai kephas. He monos ego kai Barnabas uk echomen exousian me ergezestai, tis stratuetai idiois opsoniois pote, tis futue ampelona kai ton kaponau tu uk esthie, tis poimaine poimen kai ectu galactos tes hoi mnes, and I'll just do the two words on the next page, uk esthie. So, now the haute he's kept right to the end for emphasis, but it goes back with the first bit here, I think. So this is my apologia. This is a defence. We get our word apology, of course, from this, but originally it meant a defence. It was a law court term. So this is my defence to the ones judging me. We get a whole pile of these rhetorical questions now. Now they're beginning with may, and they're already negated. So they're expecting the answer no. So we would have to slightly paraphrase this in English. So if you forget the may for the minute, it says, we do not have authority to eat and drink. So it's something like, are we without the authority to eat and to drink? Expecting the answer no. Phagain is the aorist infinitive from esthio, aorist phagon, root is phag, and pain, pain, in classical Greek this would be pain. It's from pino. This is a shortened form of the infinitive. You'll see this in some places in the New Testament. So in other places the correct form is pain with an iota, but by this stage the iota's gone as well. But it is the aorist infinitive from pino. The aorist of pino is pion with a pi iota, and so pain would be the normal strong aorist infinitive, but we're getting this form without the iota in it. So in other words, he's saying here, are we without authority for eating and drinking? Expecting the answer no. Are we without authority, periagain, to lead around, so perhaps to be accompanied by literally a sister wife? That means a believing wife. So do we not have the authority to be accompanied by a believing wife, just as also the other apostles and the brethren of, or the brothers of the Lord, understand do, and Cephas. So Cephas, of course, is Peter. And in fact, Paul generally, I think, almost always refers to Peter as Cephas. He never refers to him as Petros, I don't think, in his writings. He uses the Aramaic name. This is an interesting phrase, the brothers of the Lord, one of whom was James, that we know about. But this is interesting plural here, because we don't get reference to other brothers of Jesus, if that's what it's referring to. I'll leave you to look at the commentaries on all this. So are we not? Do we not have the right or the authority to be accompanied by, literally to lead around, a believing wife, just like the other apostles and the brothers of the Lord do, and Cephas does? A monos ego, or alone, do I and Barnabas not have the authority so as not to have to work, so not to work, or perhaps work for a living? The point being made here is that Paul, as he often mentions, worked as a tent maker, so as not to make his own living when he went from place to place, so as not to be an imposition on the local communities. He's saying here that the others don't do that, they get looked after, but Barnabas and I, we earn our own living. And he says, so do not we have the right also to refrain from working, just like the rest of them do? More rhetorical questions. Tis stratuetai. Stratuomai is to fight as a soldier. You get stratiotes and so on, a soldier. So stratuo is actually, it means to campaign, to go on campaign, to fight as a soldier. So who acts as a soldier, whoever, it's that indefinite poter, whoever acts as a soldier, literally with their own opsonios, with their own money, so using their own money. In other words, you go on campaign and you get paid to do it. This is from opsonion, I think from memory. It's a late word, and it's literally the buying of one's victuals, buying of one's food, and then it comes to mean military pay. So opsonios has the sense here of for pay, for military pay. Tis future. So who plants an ampelona, from ampelone, third declension noun, who plants a vineyard, and uk esthio does not eat the fruit of it? Or who, poimine, this is from poimino, and we get a nice verb and noun here. Poiman is the, poimne is the noun meaning a flock. So who does not shepherd the flock? And now the next page, it's uk esthia, does not eat, well we would say perhaps consume or drink, because you don't eat milk, but anyway, so it does not eat or consume or drink from the galactos, from the milk of the flock. So this is from gala, it's and this is galactos is the genitive, it's a third declension noun. Gala continues on into modern Greek, it's the same word for milk. This is from so gala, third declension noun, galactos is the genitive. And there's the uk esthia, so does not eat, well we would say consume, or perhaps drink from the milk of the flock. Me kata anthropon tauta lelo e kai honomos tauta u lege. Engato mo useos nomo gegraptai, u ke moses bun aloonta, meton boon meleto theo, e dihemas pantos lege. Dihemas ga edgraphe hoti ophele ep elpidi ho arotrion, arotrian kai ho aloon ep elpidi tu metechen. E hemes humin ta pneumatica esperamin, mega e hemas humon ta sakika therisomin. E alloy tes humon exousias met ecusi u malon hemes. Another question. So we have here another rhetorical question. Here something like, do I speak these things in a human way, or perhaps in regard to a man, or even the law, does not the law say such things? So in other words, am I simply speaking some human tradition, or does not also the law say these things? For in the law of Moses, gegraptai, it has been written, perfect passive here from Grapho. Now we get a quotation here, it's from Deuteronomy 25:4. Now the verb here is a fairly rare word, it's kemo'o is the verb, it's an Omicron contract verb, it's derived from a noun chemos, meaning a muzzle. It is classical, but it's very rare. I must confess not having remembered ever having seen it before, but it is a classical word, but very rare. Kemo'o, simply meaning to muzzle. So this is one of these u plus the futures as a in place of an imperative as an order or command. So you will not muzzle, so do not muzzle, boon from boos, the ox, and then we get a participle agreeing with boon. Participle is from the verb alo'ao, it's an alpha contract verb, which simply means to tread out the grain. So do not muzzle the oxen as it is treading out the grain. The point being that as the ox is dragging along the plough or treading out the grain, the ox will eat a little bit of it along the way, and it says do not muzzle the ox from doing that. Another rhetorical question beginning with may, expecting the answer no. Surely there is not a concern for God for the oxen, rather for the A, he says these things altogether on your account. The point being here is that Paul is going to take this literally meant not to muzzle the ox, but he's going to interpret in a sort of spiritual way that God couldn't care less about the oxen. He's written this on your account, is the sense of it here. So surely there is not a concern for God for the oxen, tone bo'on, rather, I think for the A, you can do it literally, or does he not speak altogether de hamas on your account? De hamas, for on your account it has been written that the subject here is ho oratrion. Now the verb here is oratriao, an alpha contract verb. This is a participle. You get arotrace is one who does the ploughing, and arotron is a plough, and this is just a verb, oratriao, to plough. So he, on your account it was written, this has been written, because the one ploughing, ophele, is obliged, and we're going to infinitive here, to plough. So this is an infinitive, it's an alpha contract verb plus the own ending, and it contracts to an. So the one who is ploughing is obliged to plough ep elpidi in the hope, and there's another subject here, kai ho alo'on, and the one who does the threshing, from that alo'ao verb. So the one ploughing is compelled to plough, and the one threshing, understand, is compelled to thresh, to thresh, and both of these are followed by en elpidi for emphasis, in the hope of, and then we get to plus the infinitive from meteko, to share. So meteko, standard verb, to share, in the hope that they will share, understand, in the harvest. So just to quickly put that together, the one who ploughs is obliged to plough in hope, and the one who threshes, understand, is obliged to thresh in the hope of having a share. If we have sown from spiro, this is the aorist, so if we have sown spiritual things, humin for you, so we've got to supply the verb to be here. Mega, is it a great thing? So is it extraordinary? Is it a great thing if we, therisomen, we will harvest, this is from therisdo, we will harvest literally fleshly things from you, i.e. material things from you. So he's saying, if we have sown spiritual things for you, is it a big deal that we will harvest perhaps material things, things of the flesh, humein, from you. E alloi tes hemen exousias metacruci, but if others have a share in the exousia, in the literally in the power, humone, possibly over you. It's probably not your power, but if others have a share in power over you, malon hemas, how much more do we have? Paul's use of the genitive's often a bit confusing, and so I think it doesn't mean your power, but power over you, especially with the placing of the humone in between the article and the noun. So if others have power over you, or rightful claim over you, do not we have more? And that's the first part of chapter 9.